Growing up, I had a hard time explaining to my parents what I wanted for Christmas. I was into video games and music production, and obviously they didn't know much about that. If you're in a similar situation where your friends, family, maybe partner don't really understand what they could get you, well, maybe this video is for you. I put together a list of things that are all under 100 euros or dollars, and that I think could be fun for somebody who likes synths or who likes music production. So maybe you should go ahead and show this to your partner, to your parents, or just to some friends that want to give you something for your birthday or Christmas. So let's start off by talking about books. This is a book I really recommend. This is The Secrets of Dance Music Production, produced by the Attack magazine. And this book is really all you need if you're a beginner. You know, it goes over drums and beats, bass and bass lines, a kind of crash course in music theory, synthesis and sound design, how to use samples, how to do vocals, what kind of tools you need for a studio, and mixing and mastering. So this is a very all-encompassing book. The stuff presented in the book is not super advanced, but I do think that an intermediate user or a beginner can get a lot out of it. It's also very nicely presented with nice images. It's easy to read. The examples are good. So it's really a great read for anybody who wants to freshen up on some certain part of the music production process and the technicalities behind it. Now, the second book I want to recommend is Making Music, 74 Creative Strategies for Electronic Music Producers. This book is great regardless of what kind of music you make, because it deals with fundamental issues that you have as a music producer. So if you want a more technical book, I would go for the first one, The Secrets of the Dance Music Production. It's a little bit more kind of mainstream in its approach. And the second book is more about, I think, creativity, about you tackling certain problems that are inherent to being creative and being a music producer, and less about raw technical knowledge. And speaking about books, why not get somebody a little notebook that they can use to write down vocal ideas or song ideas, or just, keep their passwords in. It's just something I think would be very nice and appreciated. So let's talk affordable synths. I'm mainly going to talk about stuff I got, and one thing I got that I really enjoy is the Monotron delay. Now there are other Monotrons as well. They're quite affordable, I think under 50 euros or something like that, and they sound pretty good. But if you want to go one step further, you can get the Stylophone Gen X1. This has a little pen that you use to play it, and you can get some really nice analog tones out of it. And one great thing is that it's quite low noise compared to the Monotron delays that are super notoriously noisy. So you can actually use this to input something using the auxiliary input, like another synthesizer, and use the filter section and the delay section to affect another synth. This is something I enjoyed a lot with it. So let's take a little listen to a demo. What you're hearing is the Stylophone, and I'm using the LFO to create this rhythmic, almost arpeggiated type sound. So I think it sounds really good. No budget synth list is complete without the pocket operators. These tiny, almost toyish synths are really nice. They sound great. They're fun to use, there's a ton of options in there, you can even create complete songs using some of them. So there's a bunch of different pocket operators. Here is the PO20 and the PO32, those are the two that I recommend and I enjoy using a lot. So as you can see, these small things are a lot of fun. They're not toys, they sound good, and they're quite easy to get into as well. And I haven't been able to break mine just yet, even though they look kind of flimsy. So a great gift for that special somebody. So when it comes to MIDI keyboards, there is so much to choose from. I recommend the Arturia MiniLab Mark II. I got a couple of different keyboards and controllers, and the MiniLab Mark II works really nicely, and it comes bundled with some impressive software. If you want to know more about this keyboard, please check the links in the description to my full review. When you have a ton of nice synths, you need somewhere to put them. So here's the Spike XL from Crema Cafe. It's a big, nice synth stand. And then there's the Colibri, a little bit more versatile, but smaller. And if you want something more affordable, I'd recommend the IKEA Isberget. So while the IKEA stand is more affordable, I do support Crema Cafe. They have been great supporters of my channel as well, and they make some really well designed, very ergonomic and versatile stands. And there's even a Bowbeats logo on one, so how about that? And here's the Spike XL holding up the Machine Mark III. As you can see, it fits really nicely on top of it. This is their biggest stand, I believe, and it does feel very sturdy. And we can also take a look at the Colibri. It's smaller, but it's also more versatile. If you want to check a full video on that, I got that in the description as well. As you can see, the MiniLab Mark II fits nicely on this stand. Another great gift is an FX pedal. Now these are guitar pedals, so if you go to a music store, look for the guitar section, look for guitar effects pedals. These can be found in a number of different sizes and shapes and costs. So you can get something really cheap like this Time Maker that I bought from a Chinese website for around 40 euros. And it sounds pretty good, and it got stereo, and you even have a USB for connecting to a computer. So if you don't know what type you should buy a reverb or a delay pedal, or maybe a chorus. Those are most fun. Next up, I want to talk about utility stuff, and some of this you can get in a normal store. This, for example, is an AA and AAA battery charger. Now this makes a lot of sense in most studios, since small portable synths and even mixers sometimes run on these AA and AAA batteries, and charging them up this way makes a lot of sense for the environment. It lowers the cost overall, and it's also really nice to have a couple of spare chargeable batteries that you can use whenever you run out. So I really recommend looking for something like this. You know, check with your family member, your friend, or just with yourself what you need, and yeah, go out and check if there's a local store that sells it. And talking about power, USB power is needed more and more, and here is a 3-port USB power brick. Maybe that's the right way to say it. And it's from IKEA, and I can use it to power my iPad, my smartphones, all my MIDI controllers, and pretty much all my music production peripherals that need USB power. So this one I really recommend. It's very practical, and it's also very nice to have with me when I'm traveling, because sometimes when I'm at a hotel room I might want some USB power, and then it's very handy instead of carrying like this big power brick. So to the frustration and the dismay of everybody around us, we music producers and synth lovers, we need cables. We love cables. So you can pick up pretty much any MIDI cable or audio cable and we will be happy, because cables are really expensive and you always need different lengths of them. So just go and get whatever you think we need, and I promise you, you will be thanked for it, because it's not a lot of fun to spend money on cables. And talking about that cable mess, here are some very smart Velcro strips that are produced by Hosa. I'm sure there are other brands out there that makes them as well, and you can just use them to tie cables together. So if you're super frustrated with your life partner's love for these messy cables, maybe this is something that you can pick up in order to make the studio space, or well, it could just be the living room, a little bit less cluttered, and tidy the cables up. So try that out if you want to. Now, if you're truly serious about cable management, get some kind of cable tray. They aren't that expensive, and you mount them under the studio desk. That way you can just push all your cables into the tray and sort of make them disappear and sort of make things look a little bit nicer. This one in particular is from Saor. I've looked at their studio gear, studio furniture before, and it's really handy. You can just put the cables in there, and there's a bit of, sort of adhesive on top, and you can use 2 screws to screw it onto your desk. So I really recommend that one, and I'll leave a link to them in the description as well. Now, while we are on the subject of utility, Velcro is your friend. Here I've used some Velcro on the rechargeable batteries, and I use this kind of double adhesive Velcro that is super strong, super good to use, can hold up pretty much anything onto any surface, of course within limits. Don't Velcro your Moog synthesizer. Moog. It's pronounced Moog. Lastly, I want to talk about some affordable music production gear. So what I'm holding here in my hand is a Midi splitter or Midi Thru box. This one takes an output and splits it into 5 outputs. So you could connect, say, your circuit and use that to send clock to 5 different sources, 5 other synths, or something like that. Or maybe take one controller and send the MIDI control data to 5 different things. And there are also MIDI mergers that work the same way but reversed. And here's something I think pretty much anybody could use. This is a small form factor mixer. This is the Dude from Bastel. It's a 5-channel mono mixer, and it basically runs on batteries, but you can also use an external power supply, and you basically use it to mix 5 mono sources together. Now there are options to this as well. There's the Roll and Go mixers, and there's a ton of cheaper Behringer mixers as well, just to name a few. But cheap small form factor mixers are very affordable, and I think pretty much anybody would be happy to get one. So that was the entire list of stuff under €100 or dollars that I think synth lovers and music production fanatics would enjoy. Now, I would love it if you commented down below your suggestions under $100, because I think it could be a lot of fun, leading up to somebody's birthday or Christmas. So feel free to post that down below. And if you enjoy my content, hit the like button, consider subscribing, and if you want to support the channel some more, you can always head over to patreon.com/bowbeats. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a pleasant day. Thank you.